Hello everyone. Welcome to Digital Marketing Gyan Podcast, your one-stop destination to explore the latest happenings, strategies, tools, techniques, and case studies in the digital marketing domain. I'm your host Prince Kumar, and we have Jesse Ranga, founder of Method and Metrics SEO agency. Jesse is the founder of Method and Metrics, where he has been optimizing websites since 2011, helping clients in a variety of industries, taking advantage of the internet, building on a background in copywriting and marketing. Jesse has expanded his knowledge of technical SEO. He is also an experienced speaker and instructor. Today, we'll be discussing on the topic prominent ways to finalize keywords for your SEO project. Hi Jesse, a warm welcome on our show.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
Okay. So, Jesse, to start with our conversation, we would like to know more about your corporate journey, and also a bit about your agency.
Yeah, so I think you covered a lot of it in the intro. I started Method and Metric about 6 years ago, and specializing in search as well as conversion rate optimization and analytics. Before that, I was a freelance consultant doing the exact same thing, doing SEO with a variety of clients, as well as helping them understand and set up their analytics platform so that they can take out as much data and information and apply it to their business as possible.
Great, great. Okay. So since you have a lot of experience into in the industry, into the SEO industry, can you mention the top three things that you think are critical for bringing ROI into SEO?
Yeah, I think that the first big thing that people need to consider when it comes to SEO is thinking, understanding that the keywords are only part of the situation, that you need to have good content, you need to have a good experience, as well as, clear messaging so that the people that arrive to your website know exactly what to do and how to do it. The other two things I think that are important for, seeing a good return on your investment in SEO is one, having a long-term vision for your business. SEO is not an overnight success. Something that you implement today on your website is not going to have an immediate impact tomorrow. And so taking that into consideration, being able to consider, 3, 6, or 1 year out will have a great deal of value for your business because you'll be able to think more long term and apply things more methodically to your website. The third thing that is quite important in determining your ROI is tracking the right metrics. Measuring how much traffic is coming to your website, but also what is the quality of that traffic? Are they spending time there? Are they engaging with your content? Are they signing up for your leads? Are they buying from you? Measuring the right metrics will help you to better determine the ROI of your SEO efforts.
Okay. And what are the other metrics that you like to mention? Like the first one is definitely the keyword. What are the other two metrics that you
Yeah,
define that
I
are
would say,
important?
yeah. I mean, ultimately, revenue is what we're all after. We start businesses to help make money. So that ultimately should be part of it. Other things too, because not everyone's going to come to your website and buy from you instantly. So you want to measure things like, how much time people are spending on your content. Are they signing up for your newsletters? Are they visiting multiple pages? That kind of thing. Anytime you can sort of measure the quality rather than the quantity of something, then you're going to be much better off with your overall digital marketing experience, but also just having a better understanding of what your customers and potential customers actually really want.
Okay. So since you mentioned the first point that is about selection of the keywords, so why do you think that keywords play as an important role and also as the foundation for our SEO strategy? And also,
Yeah.
what can be the impact of selecting wrong keywords?
hmm So, keywords are far and away the fundamental piece of every SEO strategy. When people use search engines, they are typing in keywords. They're typing in words that they are using to describe the products and services that they're looking for. People don't go to a search engine if they already know the answer. So, language and keywords are hugely important. The other side of that, though, is going beyond just what the words say and getting a sense of what the intention or the meaning is behind those words. And understanding that is a huge part of sort of choosing these keywords and getting a good understanding of what your customers are thinking about, how they're thinking about it, and ultimately how they're trying to solve their own problem.
Got it. Okay, and what can be the impact of selecting those wrong keywords? Let's say if kind of we as a marketer, if we select some wrong keywords, so what can be the impact of that?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. On the topic of search intent, understanding the meaning behind the words, that's often where people go wrong with their keyword targeting. One example would be hmm, if you were looking for, I don't know, like a hamburger restaurant and you ran a hamburger restaurant, you would obviously want to target terms around hamburgers and restaurants. But on the flip side, if somebody was looking for how to make hamburgers or what's a great hamburger recipe, you wouldn't want to necessarily target those terms because you don't do recipes. You make the food, you prepare it, and you serve it. So having a clear sense of you know the intention behind the keywords. Going too broad is another issue, like choosing something that is way too competitive or doesn't really align with, what it is that you do or what it is that you offer. Like if we use the hamburger example again, like the term hamburger, it'll bring up a lot of different responses. It'll tell you what a hamburger is. It'll probably give you some recipe ideas and it might give you some restaurant options. But again, like if you don't really look at the search results and understand what that word actually implies or what that term implies when people are searching for it, you're not going to be able to rank for it. The other side of it too is looking at who is ranking at the top. If you're a newer website and you see the likes of Amazon or DoorDash or other like big brands, even like Wikipedia, you're going to have a really hard time replacing them at the top of the results. So be really clear and honest with yourself with the keyword choices that you're making, because it's really easy to, chase these big, popular search terms, but because you're not going to be getting any traffic for them, it's going to be really hard to grow your SEO footprint. So start small, choose like long tail keywords and choose keywords that are like extremely relevant to your business, and you'll be set up for success.
Okay, okay. So these were an important advice. Now, coming to the main questions of today, that is, what are the prominent ways to select the keywords for our SEO plan?
There's a few things in there. Um, I would say that one, you should look at what the competitors are doing. Uh, Go in and see, what terminology competitors are using for their website. I think that's an easy way to start. Hopefully, like from an agency perspective, or even from like, you'll have a good sense of like what is the big primary term for the client. And so what we'll do is start to spin off variations of that term. Do legitimate Google searches. Go see what the related terms are. Go see what other businesses and websites are ranking there, and get a good sense of what how competitive and how diverse that terminology can be. you know Using an oversimplified example like of hamburgers, people call them burgers, but some people, not a big population, but might call them sandwiches. And so distinguishing those things, making sure that you fully grasp what the market looks like, but also like how do searchers search for this. We might call something, I don't know, like search engine optimization. We might call it that, but a lot of people might be searching like how to rank in Google, and they might not know what SEO is or that it exists. And so you'll have to think about those kinds of components too, of like trying to reach someone when they are in that very early discovery phase. So, look at your competitors, see what they're talking about, but also look to see how people write about it and search for it. And then the last piece too, like use social media. Go see like how people speak about this, in the quote unquote real world, like Reddit, Twitter, even Instagram can be a great source to figure out, how people speak about this product and describe it, and exactly like, finding the right language there. And then from there, we'll start to build a list and start researching the variations of those terms and the competitiveness, and ultimately like how likely our clients are to rank for those phrases.
Got it. Got it. Also, so coming to this, like since you have worked with a lot of clients, can you share a kind of one of your case studies of any of a client, and for them like how you did the keyword research? You went with a kind of some high search volume keywords, low search volume keywords. What was the strategy behind that? If you can give a brief about that.
Yeah. So there's a few things that we consider. One, how long the business that we're working with has been around, how big their website is, how big their potential market is. If they are going for like a B2B type situation versus B2C, those are going to be different as well. Like going direct to consumer will be a much more competitive marketplace, whereas B2B is still relationship based, but there aren't going to be as many people searching for these things. So we'll consider that. And if you're a software company and you're a newcomer to the space, and let's say you're competing against, man, I don't know, like Salesforce or Calendly or Asana, like well-established brands, you're gonna have to approach it from a different angle. You can't easily replicate their strategy in the early going until you build a good reputation and traction within the search results. So we'll look at those factors. Also, looking at the existing content, we'll look at how we can diversify it and expand the website's footprint so that it can target a broader set of keywords, that are also relevant to the brand, but also, good at leveraging and building kind of that trust that we need to generate leads, to generate sales, and all that kind of stuff. So it'll vary client to client and industry to industry, but ultimately we're looking at winnable search terms and keywords that we can own and rank for, and that also have a positive ROI for the client. And whether that is engagement, whether that is booking demos or any kind of other goal conversion, we're always thinking about that in terms of our keyword strategy.
Got it. Okay, so you have given already a lot of advices. Now, any last piece of advice that you would love to give to the businesses on selecting the right approach for their SEO strategy.
Yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice I can give is one, be patient. If something doesn't take right away, like it doesn't mean that you're on the wrong track. It's just that Google runs slowly, and it takes time to build up that trust and authority within Google search results. The other piece, though, associated to that is like make sure you're tracking the right metrics. Like I mentioned quite a few before, but look at time on page, look at how many pages they're visiting, which pages they're visiting. You can also use Google Search Console or other keyword tracking tools to kind of assess, like, are you getting more impressions? Are people starting to see your content? Like, that's a great opportunity to see if you're growing or not. The impressions in the search results will come before the clicks. So, if you're starting out for the first time, like, look for little wins, look for kind of glimmers of a good strategy. And when you find pieces of content, articles, blog posts that you've created that rank well and get traffic, build off of that. Figure out, like, find a kind of like a sliver of light, and then just start digging at that and expand around it. And that's sort of how we've always approached it, because a strategy it's just an idea until you actually put it into practice. And what the market dictates, what the search results dictate, what your customers dictate, that's where the success comes from. So always be checking your analytics, always be looking for opportunities to improve and iterate, but be patient with it, and sort of be good and comfortable with the fact that success will take time, but it will come. If you're chipping away at this and working at it, the success will definitely come.
Okay, great. Very valuable advice that is given. So, with this, we have come to the end of today's episode. It was pleasure having Jesse with us, and you know, gaining a lot of valuable advices on selecting the keywords for SEO and also how to get the best from it. Thank you once again.
Thanks for having me. That was great.